Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video, and in today's video we're going to be going over the Land of Waves arc in Naruto. But before we get into it, I just want to apologise just because of how long. I think it's been 2 weeks since that last video came out, and I said it was only going to be 1 week, but it was a very long chapter and it had like a lot of information that I wanted to put into it, and I wanted to make sure everything was good. So that is why it's taken quite a while to come out. And I just want to say, in the next episode, we're going to be going over the first bit of the tuning exam. So it's going to be from chapter 34 to 65, I think it is. I'll tell you for a definite answer right at the end of the video, but I'm pretty sure it's 34 to 34 to 65. But with that all said, let's just get into the video. So we start the chapter off with seeing what a normal ninja's mission is for someone who's just passed the academy, just like Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura have. They have to try and catch a runaway cat. It's really funny seeing the difference between this first mission that they're doing and then the second mission that they're going to do like right after this. Just the difference in like hard they are to do, because what they've got to do now is just catch a little cat, and then later on they got to go defeat this war criminal who's really strong. We also get introduced to the ninja ranking system. All of the ninja that leave the academy get put into these 3 categories. Genin, which is people who have basically just passed the exam and come out of the ninja academy, so they're basically just like all new ninja. The missions that they go on are usually D rank missions, and then sometimes they get C rank missions depending on who their teacher is and how strong that person is. The second rank is Chunin. We don't really know that much about Chunins yet, except for that Iruka, who was Naruto's teacher, he's one of them. But Chunin ninja get C and B rank missions. I'm guessing how close they are to like going to the next tier. I guess that's when they would get like the B rank missions, and if they've just become a Chunin, then they'll get C rank missions. That's just a guess though. I'm not really sure how you like become a Chunin. I'm guessing it's just like how many missions you do, how you become a Chunin basically. And the last rank, which is the highest, is Jonin. A Jonin is considered an elite ninja. Kakashi falls into this group. The only rank which is higher than this is the Hokage, but only one person can be the Hokage at a time. From what it looks like, it's basically that the Jonin take out the academy ninja and take them on their missions to protect them, basically like Kakashi does with Naruto, Sakura and Sasuke. But then they can also get their own missions where they basically just do A rank missions unless they are with the Genin, so then they'll do C and D rank missions. Now, after completing their catching the cat mission, Naruto tries to persuade the Hokage to let him do a harder mission. The Hokage just decides to give them a C rank mission just because, I'm guessing it's because they're with Kakashi and they know that they'll be safe with Kakashi, especially because C rank missions aren't really supposed to be hard. They're just like a bit more challenging than catching cats or helping someone with their laundry or something like that. Basically, that's D rank missions, and then C rank missions is like you get to fight people, but it's only like bandits and not actual other ninjas. But the mission that Naruto gets is that he has to escort a bridge builder to the bridge he needs to get built, and then obviously watch him as he builds the bridge so that no one comes and attacks him. Basically bandits who are like there to stop the bridge being built. But when we see the person who they have to escort, he does seem very shady to me. I don't know why, he just seemed very shady when he first walked in, especially when he said that they won't be able to protect him on a C rank mission, even though that Kakashi who's with them is someone who's strong enough to be able to do a C rank mission on his own. But anyway, they set off on their adventure, and while we're going there, we get some world building told to us by Kakashi. We get told about the 5 shinobi territories. This includes the Land of Fire, which has the Hidden Leaf Village in it, and the leader of the village is obviously the Hokage. Next we have the Land of Water. The ninja village in it is called the Hidden Mist Village. The leader of the Hidden Mist Village is called the Mizukage. We have the Land of Lightning, which has the village hidden in the clouds and is ruled by the Raikage. Then we have the Land of Wind, which has the Hidden Sand Village, which is ruled by the Kazekage. And the last one is the Land of Earth, which has the village hidden in stones, which is ruled by the Tsuchikage. These are called the 5 Great Nations, which are basically the 5 biggest countries which have like the biggest villages in them and the biggest army to be able to do stuff with. So I'm guessing that those are going to be like the most built up worlds that we see throughout the whole series of Naruto. Now, getting back to the mission, on the way to the Land of Waves, the main group gets attacked by some ninjas. Basically, they're people that shouldn't be attacking them on a C rank mission, and when they come to attack them, they get Kakashi first. They get basically catch him in the chains that they have connected to their wrists, and they catch him in there, and then they pull as hard as they can, and Kakashi basically just gets obliterated into little pieces. When I read this, I didn't actually think that Kakashi would have been killed, just because he's like a big character throughout the series because I've heard the name Kakashi multiple times. But this does leave it up to Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura to defend the bridge builder. But Naruto freezes up when the ninja run up to him. Sasuke saves Naruto and he makes them lose their chains as they're all tied up because he throws a shuriken and catches the thing, and then he throws a kunai through the hole of the shuriken that basically just gets the chain caught where they can't pull it out, and so they just detach the chain. Once they detach the chain, they both run up to the bridge builder trying to kill the bridge builder. Sasuke jumps in the way so that he could try and protect them, but then Kakashi comes out of nowhere and then stops them just by like clotheslining them. Really easy, just clothesline and then they fall over and then they're basically knocked out after that. But Kakashi only got caught just because he saw that there was a puddle on the floor and he realised that there shouldn't be a puddle on the floor because it's been really dry over the last like couple weeks and there hasn't been any rain or anything to create the puddle, so he knew that they were going to attack him. The only reason why he didn't attack was just because, one, he wanted to test out Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura if people actually came to attack, and he wanted to see who their target was because they shouldn't be getting attacked by any ninja. They shouldn't be getting attacked by bandits. But when Naruto froze up, he did actually get caught by one of the claws of the people, and one of the claws was poisoned, so Naruto had poison in him. Kakashi says that they should open up the wound to let the blood out, and then that should make the poison flow out of him. So you could just make like a little cut in your hand or something like that just to get like the blood pouring out again. But no, Naruto decides to get a kunai and just stab it straight into his hand, making a massive hole in his hand. I did really like this bit just because it does seem to fit in with Naruto's character that we've seen before. He does something to the extreme without thinking, no matter how dangerous it could be. But luckily, as Kakashi is wrapping his hand, we do find out that it is starting to heal a lot faster than it should. And that is because of the Nine-Tailed Fox healing power. The bridge builder decides to tell Kakashi and Naruto the whole story and that he is a very important person. He's trying to build a bridge to help out their trade in their country so that it can have more wealth and it's easier to do trades with outside villagers. But the richest man in Naruto doesn't want that bridge to be built because he's basically created a monopoly on the trade in that village, and building the bridge would obviously destroy that monopoly that he's built up, so he won't be getting as much money as he would before. So Gato, who is the richest man in Naruto, has bought mercenaries to attack the bridge builder because if he dies then the bridge won't ever be built because he's basically like the lead bridge builder. And the ninjas that attacked them were only Chunin from the Hidden Mist village, who worked under the main antagonist of the arc, Zabuza Momochi. Zabuza is a very well-known shinobi as he tried to kill the Mizukage of his village, but he failed and then he fled his village. He became a mercenary so he could get money to then create a coup and then kill the Mizukage again. Zabuza finds out that it's Kakashi who's protecting the bridge builder, so he decides to go out there and fight him himself since Kakashi's such a strong ninja. As they're fighting, we find out about a thing called the Sharingan that Kakashi has. It is a dojutsu. It allows someone to penetrate any illusion. It can also discern and duplicate the opponent's moves. This basically means that Kakashi can copy moves that he's seen from people as he fights them. He can also use it to cast a genjutsu on his opponents, but only the Uchiha clan can actually get the Sharingan. So in theory, Kakashi shouldn't be able to have it because he's not part of the Uchiha clan, or so we've been told so far, because his name's Kakashi Hatake. I am really excited to find out how he got it, if he is like basically half Uchiha or if he got it from somewhere else. I don't know how he would get it from somewhere else, but if he did, then that's cool. But the like realistic thing is that he's half Uchiha, I guess. Zabuza is a very, very strong opponent. And the way that we instantly know this is because when the other ninja tried to attack the group, Kakashi allowed Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura to fight the ninja. But when it comes to Zabuza, Kakashi tells Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura to stand back and just protect the bridge builder because he's way out of their league. Zabuza has some very strong jutsus as well, like he can make it almost impossible for his opponents to see, but he can also sense his opponents when it's impossible for them to see, and he's able to kill them because he's part of the assassination corps from the Hidden Mist village. This is basically their signature technique when they're trying to assassinate someone. When Zabuza uses this move where it makes it impossible to see, it completely freaks out Sasuke as he can feel the bloodthirst from Zabuza. Sasuke thinks that any little movement that he makes will give Zabuza an opportunity to kill him. He even thinks about killing himself just to end the suspense. But Kakashi calms Sasuke down by saying that he won't ever let his comrades die. I think that Kakashi telling him that he won't ever let his comrades die is something that he's picked up through all of his missions that he's done as a shinobi, because he's obviously seen loads of his friends die and he doesn't want to see it anymore. Kakashi's basically saying that he would rather let himself die than let Naruto, Sasuke or Sakura die in this situation. As Kakashi's talking to Sasuke, this is when Zabuza decides to make his move. But Kakashi does stop him, and then we find out that it's only a water clone, which is basically, in my interpretation of it, is just a shadow clone but using water instead of flesh and blood. Even with it being basically impossible to see, Kakashi was still able to copy Zabuza's water clone jutsu. This is how strong the Sharingan actually is, because he's able to see little fine details even when it's misty and he basically can't see anyway. But Kakashi was caught and put into a water prison. So then it ends up being Zabuza versus Naruto and Sasuke, as Sakura is tasked with protecting the bridge builder. I really like this bit because Naruto and Sasuke work really well together without even talking to each other. The only bit of words that they say to each other is that Naruto calls out Sasuke's name, and that's it. They basically just understand what each other are doing. At first it seems like Naruto's being really reckless when he rushes Zabuza with loads of shadow clones, but in theory it's just that he's just trying to block Zabuza's sight so that Naruto can make another clone and then transform himself into a Demon Wind Shuriken so that he can hide it in his bag, and then he can pull out the Demon Wind Shuriken, throw it to Sasuke. Sasuke realizes that it's actually Naruto in the Demon Wind Shuriken, and he pulls out his own Demon Wind Shuriken and uses a technique called Demon Wind Shuriken Windmill Shadows, where basically he just throws one shuriken and then he throws another one in the shadow of the other one. So basically you can only see one shuriken, so this makes Zabuza catch it, and then he realizes there's another one, so he jumps over the top of it. Then Naruto pops out of the one that he jumped over, throws a kunai at his hand. Zabuza doesn't want the kunai to hit his hand, so he pulls his hand out and then lets Kakashi out of his prison. This is when we get to see the boy Kakashi with his no-nonsense fighting, and he basically obliterates Zabuza, copying the same jutsu that he uses and making it look like Kakashi is controlling what Zabuza is doing. He makes it seem like Kakashi is actually reading his mind when he's making the jutsu, and then he even makes it seem like Zabuza is actually doing what Kakashi's doing. In the end, it just completely freaks out Zabuza, and Kakashi uses a vortex jutsu and pushes Zabuza away. Zabuza's against a tree, very injured, and as soon as Kakashi's about to kill him, 3 Senbon come to the side of him and hit Zabuza in the neck. The person who threw the Senbon was a shinobi hunter from the Hidden Mist village. He came to finish Zabuza off since Zabuza ran away from the Hidden Mist village. A shinobi hunter is basically someone from a ninja village who doesn't want their village's secrets to get out anywhere, so they try and kill the body and then dispose of all the secrets that's contained within the body. The shinobi hunter was even able to sneak up on Kakashi, even though he's about the same age as Naruto, and Kakashi basically says that he's stronger than Kakashi. After this fight, Kakashi gets hospitalized for about a week as he's used his Sharingan too much, and it's put a massive strain on his body. We also find out that the shinobi hunter wasn't actually there to kill Zabuza, but to actually save him, as he only used the Senbon to knock Zabuza out for the little bit and stop his heart until he brought him away. But it just so happens that Zabuza is going to have to wait 1 week before he can actually fight again, because his body has been put on too much of a strain too. So since it's perfect that they're both out for a week, Kakashi decides to teach his students how to control their chakra more efficiently. They learn how to control their chakra better by climbing trees without using their hands. So basically they just have to walk up the tree without using any of their hands. I don't know why, but it's very hard for me to explain it. I just don't understand why it's so hard for me to explain it. But I do really like that Kakashi's decided to teach them how to control their chakra better, because it's only like a little small thing, but in the long run it will really help out Sasuke, Sakura and Naruto on how to use their jutsus to a more efficient standard instead of wasting loads of chakra while using their jutsus. As they're all trying to walk up the tree, we find out that Sakura was the best at using her chakra, as she could reach the top of the tree before Naruto and Sasuke could. So since Sakura was so good at using her chakra control, she's tasked with protecting the bridge builder as he builds his bridge. But before she leaves, Naruto asks Sakura for help on how to use his chakra more efficiently. Sakura gives him a little bit of advice and then leaves. This then gets Sasuke jealous, as he didn't want to ask for help on how to get better at using chakra, but he really wants to know because he's really struggling with it, as Naruto was as well. But Sasuke and Naruto do end up working together to learn how to use their chakra control properly. They're also competing at the same time who could reach the top of the tree first. We also meet a kid called Inari. He's this kid who basically just cries a lot because he lost his dad to Gato. I'm not really going to go into the most amount of detail about Inari, just because he's not going to be someone who I don't think is going to be seen a lot throughout the series, just because I don't think he really is. I think he's going to be one of the characters that just stay in this little island and we don't hear from ever again. But Inari doesn't believe in heroes, because his dad was his hero and now his dad is dead because he tried to stand up against Gato. He doesn't believe that Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura and Kakashi will be able to stand up against Gato and help the bridge be built. And he basically just thinks that everything's bad's going to happen. Naruto has a go at Inari because he always just keeps on crying and tells him to man up and stop crying, basically. And that makes Inari just get really upset and then run off again. Kakashi then finds Inari and tells him that Naruto's been through this and worse. He lost both his parents, and this is something that he would have told himself because he doesn't cry anymore, and he probably would have cried all the time, but crying won't help him get his family back or anything. But at first Inari doesn't really understand that, so he just runs off and tells Kakashi to shut up, basically. Naruto goes training again to try and reach the top of the tree and then passes out in the forest where he's doing it. In the morning, this person finds Naruto led on the floor, and it turns out that it is Haku, the person who saved Zabuza. But he doesn't kill Naruto there because he seems like a really nice person that doesn't want unnecessary bloodshed. The only reason why he's doing it is because it seems like Zabuza saved him from being homeless without nothing to live for. He asks him why he's getting stronger and if he has someone precious that he wants to protect. He asks him this because when you have someone precious to protect, that's when you become your strongest. Naruto doesn't really have an answer at this stage because he doesn't really have anything that he wants to protect. He just wants to become the Hokage. But then we get into the big battle, which is Haku and Zabuza versus Naruto, Sasuke and Kakashi. It does seem like Sakura is getting sidelined in these fights and just saying, oh yeah, just stay over there and protect the bridge builder while we fight. But the fight does start with Sasuke fighting Haku, the person who Kakashi said was stronger than him. And we get to see how strong he is because he uses something called a Kekkei Genkai. Now, it's something that we have heard before in the series, I think, and it's basically where it's a bloodline technique where it can use 2 or more chakra natures at once. This case with Haku is where he uses ice, or it is like Kakashi's Sharingan, which is also a Kekkei Genkai, but because that's not using chakra, that's just like something that's passed down within the DNA of Uchihas. But since it's a Kekkei Genkai, what Haku's using, that means Kakashi can't copy it with his Sharingan. Haku can manipulate and create ice. He can also make these massive ice mirrors that I think is just like a really, really cool ability where he makes loads of ice mirrors and then he can step into the ice mirrors and he can fling from one ice mirror to the other, like basically almost at the speed of light. I don't think he was fighting at the speed of light against Sasuke just because it would have been over in an instant if he was, but he was moving very, very fast at a fast enough pace for Sasuke not be able to keep track of him. And basically, as I was saying, Sasuke was completely outmatched during this fight because of the speed that Haku is using. And while they were fighting and Sasuke was getting absolutely destroyed, Naruto tries to help Sasuke by stepping into the ice mirrors where Sasuke was just getting destroyed because he couldn't keep up, instead of trying to do something from the outside of the mirrors. It just adds to all of the times where Naruto just decides to jump in first and then think later. He does it all the time, like when he stabbed himself with the kunai and when he attacked Kakashi during the bell test before he even said start. But as Haku, Sasuke and Naruto are fighting, Kakashi decides to start to fight Zabuza just because Kakashi wants to help Sasuke and Naruto against Haku, but he can't because if he runs off over there, then Zabuza will go and kill the bridge builder. So it leaves Kakashi in this predicament where he's got to try and take out Zabuza first and then go help Sasuke and Naruto before they die. As the fight drags on, Sasuke is starting to be able to see some of Haku's movements. This is when Sasuke develops his Sharingan, and obviously he can develop it because he is part of the Uchiha clan. After he's developed it, it's very easy for him to see Haku's movements. So instead of aiming for Sasuke, Haku decides to aim at Naruto with his Senbon so that Sasuke will be stuck in a predicament where he either lets Naruto gets hit by them and then Sasuke goes after Haku, or Sasuke can save Naruto by jumping in the way of the Senbon. Sasuke decides to jump in the way of the Senbon without even thinking. He just does it instinctively just to try and save Naruto. But they do hit him in really bad places and he collapses in the arms of Naruto. Sasuke tells Naruto that he swore that he wouldn't die until he got revenge from his brother because his brother killed his clan. Naruto gets overfilled with anger and lets the nine-tailed fox chakra out, but not all of it. It was only like a little bit of it leaking out of him as he got so angry. But this allowed Naruto's speed and strength to increase exponentially. Before, when Sasuke tried to destroy Haku's ice mirrors with his fireball jutsu, it basically just didn't do anything. It just made like a little bit of the water come off the ice. But Naruto was easily able to just like break them. Like it didn't even take much force for him to break him. He was also able to easily dodge Haku's movements and be able to punch him through mirrors when he like just with one swing of a punch. Naruto defeated Haku, and just as he was about to punch Haku in the face, Haku's mask falls off and then Naruto sees that it was the person who helped him in the forest. Naruto tries his hardest to try and calm himself down so that he doesn't kill the boy because he really likes him. So when he punches him, he only punches him with a little tiny punch that doesn't really do any damage. Haku talks to Naruto and tells him about his backstory, where Haku's mum got killed by his dad because his mum had a Gekkei Genkai, which was feared in his village. So Haku killed his dad and then ended up homeless. Zabuza found Haku and saved him, giving him purpose in life again. Haku wants to protect Zabuza to the end, but he tells Naruto to kill him because he lost to him. Naruto then runs up to Haku with a kunai, and just as he was about to stab Haku, Haku sees that Zabuza was pinned down by Kakashi's dog summonings. With Zabuza unable to move, Kakashi was about to use Lightning Blade, which is basically a ball of a lightning chakra, into his palm and then put it through his chest. And as Kakashi's running up to do that, Haku jumps in the way using his mirrors to move there basically instantly and gets hit in the heart. He protects Zabuza with his life and even is able to hold Kakashi's arm as he's dead and not allowing Kakashi to move. So Zabuza decides to slice through Haku's body with his massive sword to try and hit Kakashi, but Kakashi luckily holds Haku's body and jumps out of the way carrying his body. Sakura realizes that Sasuke isn't okay and decides to run over to him, and we see him on the floor, his lifeless body. She completely runs past Naruto, not giving him a second thought, and goes straight to Sasuke. As Zabuza and Kakashi's fight starts to drag on, Zabuza becomes more and more weakened and isn't able to keep up with Kakashi's movements. Kakashi destroys his arms, where Zabuza's not even able to move his arms anymore, and he's just about to get killed by Kakashi before Gato shows up to try and kill Zabuza. Gato kicks the dead body of Haku to get his revenge from when Haku broke his arms. Even though Haku cared so much about Zabuza, it looked like Zabuza didn't really care that Gato was doing that to his friend's dead body. Naruto sees this and rants to Zabuza, telling him how much Haku loved him and that he would have done anything to him and that he would have died to accomplish his dreams. After hearing this, Zabuza cries and tells Naruto that he talks too much and asks Naruto for his kunai. Naruto chucks him his kunai and he catches it in his mouth and charges right into where all of Gato's men are to try and kill Gato. As he's running through Gato's men, he gets stabbed in the back multiple times before he finally reaches Gato. He stabs Gato into the chest and tells him that where they're going isn't where Haku's going, where they're going is someplace called Hell. Zabuza then cuts Gato's head off and collapses on the floor. Without anyone to pay them, the thugs think that they can take out Kakashi for some reason, but Inari listened to Naruto's words and decided to round up the whole village to try and help Naruto, Kakashi, Sakura and Sasuke. Kakashi uses the Shadow Clone Jutsu and Naruto does too, and it makes the thugs scared and run away. Kakashi walks up to Zabuza, who's on the brink of death, and Zabuza asks Kakashi for one last favour before he dies, to be carried to Haku's body so he can see his face one last time. Zabuza tells Haku's dead body, "You were at my side right from the start and I'm at yours now at the end. If I were able to, I would want to go to the same place on the other side as you." As Zabuza dies, it starts snowing like Haku was crying from heaven. I really loved these two antagonists. They had a really good dynamic and they were both well written. They also had me engaged with the story from the start when we first saw Zabuza right to the end when they both died. I wish I could have seen them more before they did die, but they did help with Naruto's character development and teaching him what the shinobi world really is about and that Naruto wants to change the shinobi world after this. Sasuke does wake up during this last scene because he only got knocked out by Haku's Senbon because Haku didn't really want to kill him. That's how nice of a person Haku really was. After protecting the bridge builder for another 2 weeks while he finished building his bridge, Kakashi, Naruto, Sakura and Sasuke set off for the Hidden Leaf Village. As they leave, the bridge builder finally thinks of a name for the bridge. He calls it the Great Naruto Bridge, and it will eventually bring trade to the Land of Waves. He calls it the Great Naruto Bridge because he inspired Inari, who inspired the whole village to help fight Gato and build the bridge. And that is the end of the Land of Waves arc. I really liked this arc. I really loved the villains in the arc. They added a lot to the arc, and I hope that the villains are well written like this throughout the whole series of Naruto. I also really enjoyed the fights. They did seem very easy to keep up with when they were fighting, and I really liked that rather than just loads of punches everywhere. It seemed like Kishimoto is very good at drawing fights. I think that this is one of the, if we count the prologue to up to this bit, I think that this is one of the best starting bits in anime and manga. The only one that I can think of that I think is better is the beginning of Vinland Saga, but it's very hard to beat a series like Vinland Saga, so I'll let Naruto off. But anyway, in the next episode, I'll be reading up to chapter 65, so I'll be going from 34 to 65, so 31 chapters if my maths is correct. It will basically be up to the end of the first part of the tuning exams that I'm going to be doing. I hear the tuning exam arc is very, very good, so I don't want to be disappointed when I'm reading it. But anyway, if you did enjoy the video, please subscribe to the channel. It will mean so much to me. Leave a like, and I will see you in the next video. I hope everyone has a great day or great night wherever you are, and peace.